Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is our fourth and final video in this Cobalt rebuild. We've been working on it for a couple of days, feeling good getting the engine back in. A few things we want to make sure we have on hand is coolant, to fill up the coolant, and engine oil. We got the filter in, but we do need to fill it up with oil, obviously. The first oil that we put in it can be just a regular 530, your cheapest oil, doesn't matter, because we're only running it in for about 20 minutes. So that's the initial startup. Revving it up and down, up and down, up and down for about 20 minutes, and then we'll change the oil, change the filter, and then we'll put in a break-in oil. I'll show you that when it comes time. Lucas, I believe, is what we use, but it's just like a straight 30 break-in oil. We'll put that in, run it for so many miles. I have to check. I think it's like 50 miles. Run it, drain it again, change out the filter again, and then we'll put in the oil that we're going to use for about 500 miles, change it, change the filter, and then after that, 500 miles, we're good to go for the rest of the vehicle. Just change the oil, regular oil, change intervals, and we're good to go. So let me show you real quick. On the heater core, we want to make sure we replace those hoses. I had to cut mine off, but let me show you, because I'm thinking just go ahead and replace them. Even if you didn't have to cut them off, because of where they're located, they just kind of suck where they are, tucked back in behind the engine. Might as well, go ahead and replace them. Since we have the engine out, makes it super easy to do it now, than later if they start leaking in the future. So as far as getting anything together here, there's really not a whole lot to do. Again, we can replace the radiator hose if you feel like it. You got that hose over there we can replace if you feel like it. Get a new thermostat since we're in here. And then new heater hoses, we already got those on and ready to go. Now, anytime you put hoses on, use dielectric grease or a silicone paste. That helps lubricate them as they go on, helps them come off easier in the future, and it actually protects the rubber. So all around a good product. So as far as getting anything prepped here, we got this ground strap we want to remember, this ground strap we want to remember. Other than that, everything is still pushed out of the way from when we took the engine out. Let's do this, I'm excited. I'm just gonna lift the engine up, then we'll roll the vehicle back under it, just like when we took it out. Also, if you have air injection, I took that hose completely off. We're gonna set that out of the way. At some point, we'll slip it back in, but for right now, we're just gonna leave it completely out. All right, little by little. All right, let's put our ground strap in the front on before it's out of our reach. That's our big 13 millimeter. Trying to get a couple tranny bolts started. And you want to be careful sucking these in because you don't want to be cross-threaded. So you want it really to fit in the dowels and let that kind of be your guide. There, like that. Perfect. There we go. Okay, so now let's put the front motor mount on, and then it'll be held on by the front motor mount and two tranny bolts, but we are all lined up perfectly. And the dowels are in. We're gonna get this bad boy back on. Might actually lift the engine a little. So a little mistake on my part. This bracket should have went in first before the engine went in. No big deal, we can still maneuver things, but that would be the best. All right, let's get a torque on those. And these are 74 foot-pounds. All right, now I'll put this on. So the two side nuts are 74 foot-pounds, and the three bolts are 37 foot-pounds. Set the engine all the way down. Now I'll put the two nuts on and torque them down. Sweet, the engine is set in enough. We're gonna go ahead and pull this off and slowly start putting everything back together. All the wiring, harness, hoses over here and everything get put right back together. We'll walk through that side by side. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing back together. I'm gonna go kind of fast, whipping through stuff. I'm gonna start in the back here. We'll get this pipe stuff on for our heater core, just so we don't forget that simple stuff. We have a new exhaust gasket we'll put on. We'll put a little anti-seize on our exhaust bolt. And before we put this pipe on, we'll get our top transmission bolts. I think we can get these right here. Don't forget the ones by the starter motor. Might be easier to get that from underneath. I can get it from right here. At least get it started anyhow. All transmission bell housing bolts are 66 foot-pounds. 4 from the top, 4 from the bottom. There's one right above the starter motor here. And then these two are easy to see. And then that crazy one in the back. That was a crazy one. So I have to torque the one above the starter motor from underneath. Let's toss our thermostat in. It's kind of a cram little spot. Now let's put this pipe in. See, it went like this. Goes down here. It's kind of a challenge because it has to get behind this engine hook bracket. But we got it. It snaps on there. I can get tightened. This can get tightened up front. All right, I got this. Go right there. All right. So this can go back. Put this back. Lay our harness over. I think this actually goes under the harness. No, goes over. Put a little dielectric grease on this. That'll help the O-rings inside here slide on good. Just rub it around. Should just snap in. There we go. Then we'll just put this back on. Fuel rails back on. We got our cam position sensor that can get plugged in. Got our breather hose or our vacuum hose for our brake booster that can go on. And this should just go all the way on and then push that white clip down. Locks it in. That stuff will get done from underneath the harness stuff. I think so far we're doing good. Can put these on. You know, let me tape up this harness. It's looking pretty raggedy. Okay, so I had to remove that ground strap in the back up top here just to reposition it so I can get more room on my harness here. So we can plug these in. There we go. This long one goes down the back, all the way down. Still not sure if this goes in the front or in the back. Oh yeah, that's better. If your wiring and stuff just feels not right, like it's crumbled up or cramped or pinched or whatever, go ahead, move it around, get it just right. We want to make sure our routing is good for our wires. Got this thing here. So this broke on mine when we were removing the engine. This little hose here. So we're just gonna replace it real quick. Put this radiator hose on. Let me look around. We might be done up here, at least for now. I think this whole side is put back in. So we'll go underneath, finish our bell housing bolts, do our torque converter bolts, our starter motor, AC compressor, all that good stuff. All right, so underneath we want to remember all the bolts. There's 2 by the starter, an upper and a lower. And then there's 3 bolts here, one right there, 66 foot-pounds. And then just like we took off the torque converter, we'll go in there, get those tightened, torqued down. The torque converter bolts are 46 foot-pounds. Our crank pulley bolt is 74 foot-pounds plus 125 degrees. Next, we want to put our starter motor in. Bolt right there, 37 foot-pounds each. Remember, the upper one goes underneath the intake manifold to get that on. And then watch your routing for your wires. Don't get them pinched. Make sure they route up and over the starter motor. So to install the upper starter bolt, you need a really long extension and a socket. Now to hold the bolt onto the socket, so you take a little piece of paper towel, a little piece of glove or whatever, and you put it on the head of the bolt, and then that in your socket, and that holds it in place. So now when you go to slip it behind the intake manifold, good to go. The AC compressor is 15 foot-pounds, and the alternator is 18 foot-pounds. All right, we're getting close. Put the air box back on. Made sure that all our electrical connectors in this spot were all buttoned up. And then now we have down here, let me turn the light on. We have this bracket to put on, 4 bolts, and then that really ridiculous transmission bolt, remember, is way back there. We still got to put that on and torque it down. Now remember, because you have such a long extension, your torque isn't going to be 100% accurate. So go to torque and then a little bit more if possible to get a proper torque. I believe that is our last bolt and we're ready. We still need to put on the serpentine belt. Just looking at it, I noticed that. And then fill it up with fluids. And that's it, we're ready to crank this thing. Now before we start it up for the first time, what we want to do is put our gas pedal all the way to the floor. Then we'll turn the key on and just crank it. And it should not start. Let it go through a full crank cycle. Keep the key in the forward position until it stops cranking. And what we're doing is we're priming the oil pump, priming the head, getting that oil all circulated before the RPMs go up to about 1,000. Usually when it starts cold, you're around 1,000 RPM. Cranking is around 200-300 RPM. So we're getting that oil circulated at a lower RPM. Turn it off. We'll do that crank one more time. And it may sound funny, there may be less compression in some cylinders than others. That's because that oil needs to coat around those rings. Okay, now we'll let off the gas. We'll go ahead and start it up. There we go. Again, it may run rough for a second. It's definitely gonna smoke out the back, so if you're in a garage, pull it out as soon as possible. Oh no, I don't know if you can see it, but right there, and then on the side, you see it wet there. The head gasket did not seal. Why? So that is a huge bummer. Not sure why it didn't seal. It could be in the head, it could be in the gasket. Either way, we're gonna have to pull this head back off, figure out the failure, and then put it back on. So I'm gonna pause this video for a second because we still have to run through the first startup stuff together. So we're gonna pause this video here, and then I'm gonna pick back up once we do the head gasket. So I'm gonna have a separate head gasket video tearing this thing back apart. Of course, we don't have to pull the engine to do that, but we do have to pull the head. So a lot of work ahead of us. That's a real bummer. But stay tuned, we will be back. About lifting it up. Here's the old gasket. And I can already tell you, I'm gonna call foul because this is MLS, multi-layer steel. Look at how many layers there are. 1, 2. This is Felpro, multi-layer steel. 1, 2, 3. That's usually how they are. 3 layers of steel, not just 2. All right, we're back. Crazy stuff. So what we want to do, again, I forget if we did this already. Pedal to the floor. That'll put it in clear flood mode, so it will not start. We just want to crank the engine and go through its cycle. Keep it cranked until it stops cranking. That'll build up oil pressure. Get the pump primed. Now we want to start it up. There we go. Okay, so for the first 15 to 20 minutes, we want to rev it like this. Between 1.5, 3 grand. So this is just the initial 20 minutes. And what that'll do is any bearing debris or anything in the engine, that'll get caught in the oil filter. So it's kind of like an initial engine flush. That'll also help our coolant temp to reach temperature, get nice and hot, and just set everything in. So I'm gonna do that off camera, but that's our move right now. While we're doing the initial rev ups, put the heat on high, crank it up, make sure you're getting heat coming out of the vents, and that lets us know that the coolant is circulating through the heater core. So after that initial rev up cycle, everything looks good. We'll go ahead and change our oil, and we're putting in this Lucas engine break-in oil. It's just a straight 30 oil, high zinc, and we'll take this on a 50-mile drive. This will be the last section in this video. So the 50-mile drive, we want to rev it up, accelerate, decelerate, accelerate, decelerate for 50 miles. We don't want to be at a constant speed or a constant RPM. When we accelerate, we're putting a lot of pressure in the cylinder. When we decelerate and let the transmission and engine brake, then we're putting a lot of vacuum in the cylinder. So it's that constant pressure, vacuum, that's gonna help break it in during this 50-mile drive. After that, we'll change the oil again, put in a standard 5W30 and go for a 500-mile drive. Of course, you're not doing this all in one day, but 500 miles over the next few weeks, month or 2 months, doesn't matter. Then we want to change it again. After we change it, after the 500-mile mark, we can put any oil you want, full synthetic, Mobil 1, doesn't matter. That's your choice. Because after that 500-mile mark, you're good to go for another 200,000+ miles on this rebuild. All right. Well, thanks for watching. A little bit of hiccup there with the head gasket. Pretty frustrated with Engine Tech. That brand who produced that head gasket, pretty lame. If you ask me, that should not have happened. So I learned a lesson. I'm gonna stick with Felpro. Not that they're the best out there, but in my opinion, I've never had, or my experience, I've never had an issue with Felpro. All right, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. See you on the next one.